an innovation going on in Poland, and it's about teaching languages and it's about teaching in general. This revolution, I would say, takes place at the very local level at the moment, hoping it will go higher and it will go into the Ministry of Education as well. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to implement CLIL at the primary level of education in the school that I own and in the school in which I'm the headmaster. Before I start, I would like to ask you a question so that it will be easy for me to address you. How many of you are not for how many of you English is not the first language of communication? Can you raise your hands? Well, half. And how many of you have been, how many of you are satisfied with the way you've been taught English during your education? None. Yeah, none. Well, I'm the same because I've been taught the ways that, well, could be much better. I've been learning English for the last 20 years or so. So, well, and the most of the learning is what I did myself, not the school did for me. What I will try to do today is briefly introduce you into CLIL, but probably most of you have heard about it. And I will tell you about the innovation I'm doing in my school, which is named Smart School, about some aims, rules, and how do we teach English and what's different in the way we do it to the way it's popular in Poland. And some bits about CLIL teachers that I'm striving to find. So what is CLIL? CLIL is an abbreviation for Content Language Integrated Learning. It's one of the buzzwords now in the ELT market, but it's been on the market for the last 40 years nearly. It started in Germany, where Germany and France had a treaty about cooperation in between the two countries, and it was also about teaching the language of this neighborhood country in France and in Germany, and that's where it all started in the 1970s. And it's been on in Europe for quite a long time. What is it? It's teaching a subject, such as, for example, geography, through English, to the learners, of course, for whom English is not the first language. And what's the most important, I believe, is that it's not the language that is important, it's the content that is still what is to be taught, but it's just the language that changes in teaching this specific content in this specific subject. What I did, because in the Polish educational system there are no rules governing the CLIL-oriented teaching at the level of primary school, because there are some regulations concerning the secondary level of education, but they are still very basic. I thought I need a document that will tell me and my teaching staff how to do it, and then I can evaluate and assess it. So I've prepared a document which is, the name is, sorry, what did I do? There it is. English is everywhere. This is the Polish version, edukacja dwujęzyczna, kształcenie zintegrowane, which translates into English as bilingual education integrated. There is a great need for CLIL teachers, so dual qualification teachers, because there are a lot of documents that say that that's what we need to do now in Europe in 21st century. Teacher cannot be specialized only in one subject, one direction, needs to have dual qualifications, so even more, the more the better. And there are a lot of documents proving that. Well, this picture I found about a CLIL teacher. That's a very difficult task, of course, because you need to combine all of the culture, cognition, folding, language, etc., etc. But it is possible, and I've got good examples of teachers that can do it. So thank you very much for your attention.
when they join the secondary school?
Yeah, I had this question today during the lunch conversation. I promised the parents, and I will keep the promise, that I will not let the children go away after the level of education, because that would just waste all of the things that I've introduced. So there is no way they can then, after the primary school, go to just ordinary secondary school. I need to do secondary school for them, and I will do it. It's not a problem. So I will keep them until they got this graduation exam, and then they go to university, hopefully international universities. Well, yes, yes. I found 2 universities in Poland that used to teach teachers that would have dual qualifications. It used to be pedagogical department, and they used to teach the teachers that will then be the teachers of 1-3 grades in primary school, and they also taught English at the same time. So this was like this perfect thing for me, but they stopped it. Don't know why, because it's far away, I didn't ask them. They stopped it, and I got 1 teacher after this university. And if I find a teacher that I think will suit my needs and the needs of the school, I try to convince him to study the second thing. It's easier with the philologists, with the English teachers. I've got a one teacher who's an English philologist, MA in English, and I know him for quite a long time, and I know she's a good teacher. And then I told her, listen, you need to go and study this integrated education, and if you do it, you will work in my school and you will fit perfectly into my ideas. And that's what she did, and that's why I tried to find her, but it is very difficult.
The principle that you've outlined, Artur, do you know if there are any English-speaking schools who use that principle to teach foreign languages?
You mean where the English is the first language?
Where English is the first language, and say they want to teach them French,
No.
Spanish.
No.
Do you believe it's transferable?
It is, of course it is. I can work with any language, with any 2 languages, and there's no, there's no interruption in it. But I believe the English people don't open such schools only because English is so global that you don't really need a second language to communicate. Even in Italy here, yes, we still communicate in English. And that's probably it.
There are schools like that around the world, and they're usually sponsored by the embassies of certain countries. So if you are, your child is born in that country, and you would rather use your language, your mother tongue, to get to know about the world,
That's what happens in Germany, in France. The embassies enforce it, but British Council, which is the organization for the English language, well, doesn't want to do it because they don't think the need in doing it.
Well, I'm going to ask a question. When you decide how much space in your curriculum you want to give to this or that subject, you probably reduce then the space that used to be reserved for Polish language and Polish literature and so on and so forth. Do you get acceptance from the society in that way that you're allowed to do that?
People who have no idea of the bilingual process of teaching and the positive outcomes on it, well, are the opponents of the idea, but it's because the lack of knowledge only. Because the Polish language, your native language will always be on a high level because you speak the language not only at school, you speak it at home, in your surroundings, playgrounds, etc., etc. I'm not at the level of teaching literature yet to children because they are still grades 1-3. But in the future, what I will do is I will add I will never teach English during Polish education because this is totally different. The bilingual classes will be mathematics, IT, PE, arts, etc. And then each subject that will have this bilingual education will also have 1 hour extra of tuition, so that I'm sure that nothing bad happens, but it's just positive outcome.